So is that one about modern logic came to be right around 1854, was it?
There was a lot of, well, John Stuart Mill was important. And he wrote a huge book on logic. It was pretty significant. Oddly, Lewis Carroll, who wrote Alice in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass, he was a math and logic teacher, and he wrote a book on logic explaining how you can do Sorites. Sorites, we'll talk about Sorites a little bit when we get to the end here. Okay, so I guess we're all back? Yes? So I did turn on the machine just so I could refresh my mind about how to do that. But I'm still not planning on using it, if that's all right. Unless I need it for something. But let's look at chapter 6, and what we're doing now are syllogisms. So the classic syllogism that everybody's probably heard before, even if you didn't know it was a syllogism, is all men are mortal, right? Socrates is a man, therefore Socrates is mortal. The interesting thing is that you have to translate those in order to get them so that it works. Because Socrates as a man is, strictly speaking, not in standard form. Right? It's a proper noun. So I have to say all the things that are Socrates are men. Right? And so therefore all of the things that are Socrates is mortal. Right? Then it makes sense as a syllogism. Right? We shall see. Okay. So there are 4 types of statements that we can use that are true or false. The forms of statements, right? So I just used S and P, to introduce this. When we go into syllogisms now, we're going to introduce a third term, and that is M, which stands for middle. So the middle term, and we're going to be sloppy when we're using our subject and our predicate terms. So S and P, we're going to be switching them back and forth, which is wrong. It always confuses people, and I don't know why. Every logic book does this. It seems to me you ought to be able to figure out a way to avoid doing that, but every book I've ever read that does it talks about syllogisms does it the same way. But so if I'm going to go the next step from saying to give you a true statement to an argument, I can't have an argument with just one statement, there's no conclusion, right? I have a premise but no conclusion, right? Or contrary-wise, if you want to say it that way, I'm thinking from Alice in Wonderland now, we've got the conclusion, and no premises, I suppose, right? But in any case, it's not a full argument, right? So in order to have a full argument, I need more than one statement. What about if I have 2 statements? So all cows are boring. All horses are exciting, right? Now I have 2 statements. Do I have an argument? No argument yet. So I need 3 statements at least in order to have an argument. And in fact, I can't have 4 statements and still have 1 argument. If I have 4 statements, now I'm going to actually have 1 or more. I'm going to have at least 2 arguments in order to fit all 4 statements. That would give me what's called a Sorites. But let's just look at what it takes to develop 1 argument, which is called a syllogism. And you saw, I guess, where the Greek word syllogism, right, is the word, right? Syllogismus. I interpret it as a coming together of logic, so I don't know that I would just say it means conclusion, right? Okay. But so I'm going to have three statements in order to create an argument. And I have to have them relating to one another, because what I'm trying to do is give you information in my premises that guarantees the truth